Becoming Better You Show with or BTBY. My name is Brian K. Ramey, and I'm hosting today's discussion with Lynette Sorrentino. I want to make sure I get that right because
you got it right.
There's a lot of vowels and a lot of letters in that name. So, Lynette, tell me a little bit about you. Who is Lynette?
I call myself sometimes a country girl who lives in the city.
There you go.
I grew up in the panhandle of Nebraska. Was raised by a single mom. Grew up with a lot of strong work ethic and just figured out a way very quickly how to go and work hard because if there's something that I wanted and she couldn't afford it, I figured out a way to get it.
Wow, so you have some perseverance, don't you?
It's driven me probably my whole life, sometimes to a point where it backfired and I learned how to adjust, but that's what really drove me my entire life into being successful. I just always wanted to be really good at whatever I did.
So you know the new adjustment's called pivot.
Plenty of those. Plenty of those.
Me too. I understand what that feels like. To have to pivot.
Exactly.
So, becoming the better you. Mm-hmm. How did you get in touch with Brenda Ringwood?
Simple answer, it was a God thing. I happened to answer someone's question on Facebook who was actually looking for a credit card business or a credit card processor, which is one of my businesses. And I responded to him and then circled back with him the next day and I noticed and I went, and of course when you meet someone you haven't met on Facebook, you go stalk him, right? So I went and stalked him on Facebook.
Okay, folks, we have a stalker. I'm playing. I am playing with you.
So I went to just get to know about him a little bit and I saw an event that he was having. So I said, and he invited me and I said, sure, I'll go. So then I went to that event and then subsequently they were promoting one that Brenda happened to be at. Okay. And I just went to that event, went to the VIP thing, and Brenda and I just connected. And you know, when you meet someone and you just connect and it clicks, and you have and your ideals and your values and the things you want to do with the world resonate, and that's just how it happened.
You know what's interesting about that is that that's what we're all about. Becoming the better you is all about connections. It's helping people get a voice, but it's really connecting and blending in and helping each other. Mm-hmm. And I think that's important to articulate right there because that's what happened in the process with you and Brenda. Mm-hmm. You sought after through another channel, met Brenda, you both had a voice, you both connected, exactly. you joined together. And now we have you here, and we're doing an interview with you, and I'm excited to learn a little bit more about you. So tell me a little bit about your business.
My business. Chaos to Boss was born during COVID. It was the inspiration after I had been in the direct sales industry for over 25 years. I was in a very well-known company that happened to have pink cars. Ooh. And I was in the top 5% of the company. And at some point I just decided I wanted to make a shift. And when I moved into the payment processing world, I loved the same principle that I was helping people. You know, I'm a helper, almost enabler, or stopped learning how to do that. But anyway, so got into payments and I saw all these business owners who were able to live the life that I saw a lot of people in the direct sales industry do, which was have the freedom and the flexibility and be able to walk away and take all the vacations and all of this stuff that we think is the lifestyle of an entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. But most of them weren't living it. They were grinding it out. And I saw a lot of things that were opportunities. They didn't really know how to organize or manage their time. They were thinking still like an employee instead of a business owner. There wasn't usually culture, there wasn't leadership, there were just a lot of missing pieces that I had experienced in direct sales. So through some inspiration, some nudges from my daughter who had also stalked me on Facebook and said, Mom, you changed people's lives, you ought to do some mentoring. And I went, you know, that's one of the things I love the most in that business was the coaching and mentoring my team members. So I said, well, I can teach all those things, but it's the productivity and the time management, how to use your time. If I can't teach those business owners how to do that first, then there's no way I can teach them any of the rest of it to grow and scale because it's still a cluster. It's just still chaos. So that's where Chaos to Boss came from.
So tell me a little bit more about Chaos to Boss, not essentially all the things you've said, but how did you come up with that mantra, if you will, or that tagline? Are you really chaos? Because you stopped, you say. So Chaos to Boss. And I know MK can be a lot of chaos because my grandmother was involved with it. Until her death.
Really?
And she was in her 90s.
Wow.
Very successful with it. So I want to know chaos to boss. What does that actually mean?
It's how you approach life.
Okay.
It's, you can approach life literally running around with your hair on fire and running around crazy and dropping things and forgetting things and beating yourself up internally and saying, I forgot this and I'm stupid and why did I do that? And I don't have a meal on the table for my kids, and all the self-talk and all the things that we aren't equipped to do because we have grown up being told where to go and what time do we have to show up. So we're used to someone else telling us what to do all of the time, and we forgot a lot of our independent thinking. And if you're going to be a business owner, you've got to have some independent thinking. If you're going to be a leader in an organization, you have to have independent thinking and be more self-disciplined and more start internally. So that's how you go from chaos to boss, is you start outsourcing, you start delegating, you start just looking at things differently and how you approach it instead of feeling like you're running around with your hair on fire. Who wants to look like that? And it's not sustainable. You burn yourself out.
There's one key point that you put in there. I think a lot of people like to say delegating.
Mm-hmm.
I call it leverage.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So
leverage your time.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think they need to delegate everything out, and they think they're giving over power.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't believe that's what it really is. I think when you leverage, you're getting into alignment with
Yes.
yourself.
Perfect word, one of my favorites.
And when you're getting into alignment
Yes.
and leveraging to existing people who are professionals at that,
Exactly.
to me that's actually what a leader really is they understand leverage,
Yes. Yes.
which is alignment,
Yes.
versus just delegate telling you what to do.
100%.
And leverage to me is key to that. So chaos to boss, we've got a little bit of idea how that. So as we move forward, that's what you represent.
Mm-hmm.
What else are you doing? How are you helping people?
I'm helping them look at life and saying, where do I want to be in 5 or 10 years from now? How do I want to live my life? It's life whole 360. Not just, okay, it's Monday morning. People are either going, I'm excited for work today, or it's like, oh, I wish I had the day off like all the government people do. They're regretting and not wanting to go to work on Sunday night. They're worried, they're doing all the activities, doing all the things with their kids or their life, but are they thinking about how they live their life whole 360, how they want to live their life in general? Because tomorrow's not promised.
So you talk about planning?
I think living with intention.
Okay.
Living life intention. So planning is part of it, but it's with intentionality. So, we plan our vacations and we plan all those stuff, but what if we took that same type of big picture planning and intention about what do we want our kids to be when they're on their own and as young adults? What kind of kids do we want to raise?
Okay.
Well, that starts now. What do I want to be? People our age are going, I can't wait to retire. I want to retire. Well, I had some high school friends that they couldn't wait to retire. They did. They bought a camper. 6 months later, her husband's gone because he had cancer.
Oh, wow.
And he died. They didn't get to live that life in their camper.
Do you ever want to retire?
No, why?
I agree.
Why?
People look at me like I'm insane when I say, as long as I can mentally handle everything and not cost people money,
Yeah.
I want to work. Actually, I don't call it work.
Exactly.
I enjoy living my life the way I want to live it on my terms.
And we're enjoying that. I think the people who talk about retiring is because they're doing the grind. They're going to the job and working 8 to 5 every single day in the place they don't like it, and so they can't wait to retire.
It's so much finality. It's like a finality to that, and I don't understand that. I don't understand that concept because that's not how you mentioned about God. That's not how He intended it.
No. We're made for a lot more than we're doing and living.
Right.
So when I think of the whole chaos to boss picture is, I got a vision several years ago. And I don't get visions often, but this one was of kids playing in the front yard just with abandon and giggling and laughing in the street and the parents out there playing with them and doing all of this stuff. How different is that than the way our families live right now?
I said that I'm also in real estate, and one of the transitions, because this is kind of like an emotional moment of deep thinking. It used to be that everybody played in the front yard. The backyard didn't even exist.
Right.
It was a chain link fence with a dog. You didn't have barbecues in your backyard. You did everything out front. And we went from a society that opens up, entertains, welcome,
Yeah.
to a society of closure. And I don't want to get deep in that, but it is the truth. We look at, even that way houses are built, they're closer to the street than they've ever been.
Yeah. Because they left for the backyard.
Yes, and it's a closed off,
Yeah.
what we've done. And I think these are some of the things, I appreciate you saying that, because a lot of people don't recognize that. You know, that's one of the things that we've tried to articulate through Becoming the Better You, is you gotta meet people, you gotta grow with people, you gotta be intentional about seeking to form relationships, and that's
Yeah.
what we're all about. And I could see that in our conversation, even right now in the small amount we've had, that your intentionality to get there,
Yeah.
to really meet people, to welcome them in, is important to you.
Huge. Because think about, we're all going to die someday. Do we want them to talk about our accomplishments, or do we want them to talk about the kind of person we were?
How they poured in.
Exactly. And when you think about people, there's so many things about, and and social media has done this a lot. All this stuff on Facebook, and of course all we do is we compare and we look at all this stuff, because everybody puts their best foot forward on social media. So everything looks perfect, everything looks wonderful, and there's all this, got this house and got the car, and and I had a lot of those trappings of that.
Mm-hmm.
I had the car, I had all the things that looked great on the outside, but I was dying on the inside. I wasn't thriving, I wasn't peaceful, I wasn't calm, I wasn't joyful. I didn't have that spirit inside me that made my life happy and exciting. I was still on a lot of levels having all the success and still going through the grind and trying to juggle it all.
So it's kind of reversing your mantra. A lot of times we think we're the boss to chaos.
Yeah, true.
I hate to spin the words a little bit, but you teach chaos to boss,
Yes.
and a lot of our lives are based on boss in our environment that we work in.
Yeah.
But by the time we leave that environment, we go to chaos.
Yes, because again, we're told where to go, what time to be there. Where in school do they teach some of the basics of running a household, running a budget, preparing meals? I mean, home ec stuff, So one of the things I hear from moms is like, the chaos happens when they're juggling all this stuff with the kids and all the activities, and then what's for dinner, and that's where the chaos does erupt, is because we can go do that job very well, but no one's teaching us the other pieces. And when I was in my direct sales company, I was working with women who were working a full-time job, they were building a part-time business, and also had a family. So I showed them how to do it all.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really where I want to be able to take that, so it's not just in the direct sales world, take that out to the business world and help people be able to have it all based on what are your values, what's your vision, what's important to you, and what does that look like.
Interesting. And I say that because a lot of the things that I teach and I train on is all about your internal alignment.
Mm-hmm.
Not in the way that I'm more the business side, I'm not the fluff. I
Yeah.
talk about, are you really in line with you, your peace and your joy?
Yes.
Is your alignment, are you communicating that alignment to your other peers?
Right.
Are you subordinates? Whatever, do you have the right communication strategy? Is it clear? Is it concise?
Yes.
That they understand? But are you also welcome enough as a leader to everybody wants to say, I want to have an open door policy. What does that actually mean? Because it doesn't exist. We like to think it does, but it doesn't. I was watching a movie, I can't remember it, but he actually took the door off the hinges.
Yes.
And the funny thing about that, as a leader, and I think that's what you're talking about, as a leader, not just in business, but a leader in your own home, if people feel like they have a voice to communicate, they're more apt to follow you because you've communicated that type of mechanism in their life and allowed them freely to exist. So let's transition for just a second. What is your focal point now? I got the MK, I won't say their name, but I'll say MK transition. I've got the credit card processing, things like that. So what does Lynette do now? Tell me a little bit more deeper about your business. because I have this little unique thing. It's called grinding is only for coffee beans.
Grinding
And
is
I
only
love
for coffee
coffee.
beans. I do too. I'm a coffee snob. So yes, grinding is only for coffee beans. I want to change the narrative. I want to flip the switch on how people think about working and living.
Okay.
So, and I'm not against, so let's define. If I think grinding is only coffee beans, and I've talked about you don't have to hustle, and I'm not against those, but I think there's a couple of things. If hustle is good if you've got good, strong work ethic. And grinding can be really good if you've got the good, strong work ethic. But when it comes to a point where grinding means you hate going to work every day or you hate what you do, go find something different. Go do something different. Life is too short.
Mm-hmm.
I think about hustle, and there are people who hustle so much. And again, I'm not saying you don't have to put in the work, especially as an entrepreneur. But there is a point where hustle takes over your life, and then what does it cost you? There's a big price to pay. It usually costs you mentally, it costs you physically, it costs your relationships. Sometimes it can even cost you financially, because there's just too much put into that. And we're not made to be consciously working so hard mentally all the time. Our brains are tired by the end of the day. We can't think. We're not wired to be that way. And at some point, it's not sustainable. Our nervous system just gets tapped out, and that's why we gain weight. That's why the cortisol is there. That's why we get brain fog. There's so many physical, mental elements that happen with that.
Mm-hmm.
And grinding is only for coffee beans is because I was doing that in so many ways, because I was juggling so many things in my life with my business, living in Washington State, juggling my kids, just being at a whole stage of life and trying to be everything, because as moms, there's this thing that we just think we're supposed to put on the face of being everything and being perfect and carrying it all, until it broke me.
I think one of the things that it breaks a lot of people about is their health, and they don't even realize it.
Yep, I hit the burnout stage so bad that it was either make a significant unpopular decision about my life or check myself in.
So that's a severe crash, and I've been there myself. I know what that feels like in 2023. My youngest son went to college. I'm not going to go deep into me, but this is what I will say. I did not know who I was anymore, because I was a single father, and my identity was being a leader, training for what the real world is.
Yeah,
And then now who am I?
exactly.
And I crashed on that. I just didn't know what was going to be anymore. So it sounds like to me you have a way that you're showing people. So what's some classes that you do, or do you talk about this?
I do speaking, I do one-day workshops, I do one-on-one coaching, as well as different series. Any way that I can help people move the needle and move to a place where they're in a better place, however it needs to look like for them.
So tell me a little bit about some of the training that you do, like classroom says. Everybody says I'm a coach, but I think it's important that we are obviously coaching helps a lot, and I encourage coaching.
Yep.
But how are we training individuals? I think that's different than just coaching.
I agree. Well, first of all, I think the first training piece has to be letting them see that there's another way to do things. Because if we've been so programmed in one way for so many years in our entire lifetime to do something this way, and we think that's the only way, it's really shifting. There is another way. So one, I have to model it, but then teaching other people how to model that. So it's shifting the mindset. And I think it's, for women, it's giving themselves permission to say yes to themselves. It's giving themselves a break and say yes to me. And it's not just self-care going to get a massage. It's like taking a few minutes in the morning to take care of you before you take care of the kids or you get to the job. It's for the men who are designed to be protectors and providers. But sometimes that providing and protecting is saying no to work, saying no to the business, and allowing your daughter to come up and snuggle on your lap, allowing your wife to lean into you because she's been slaying it all day long. And that's her working in her masculine energy, but she needs to come in and be the woman and just snuggle up to him and say,
exhale. A lot of
Exhale.
times, sometimes I
Exhale.
take those deep breaths and then I exhale slowly. And people, something wrong with you? No, I'm just
Taking a breath.
I'm
Yeah.
centralizing my nervous
Yeah.
system and I'm slowing my pace down.
Yes, slow the pace down and being present, unplugging. Unplugging from the life, from the business. You know, our phones are attention deficit devices. You know, they've made us,
Sorry, I apologize for laughing, but they are. I just.
you know, they get us the dopamine rush, they get us hooking on all this stuff, and so they create us going like this all of the time. Put those down.
That's the reason why I love going on cruises.
Exactly, right? Because you can't.
I love
You know,
it.
and if you can't go on a cruise, then go out in the middle of Nebraska or Kansas or Missouri somewhere, and you don't have cell service. So you know, wherever you are, go to the mountains, go to Mexico. I don't care where you go, but just go where no one can get a hold of you.
I encourage people I always do 8 days, 7 nights,
Yeah,
or 7 days, 6 nights. That extra day on the ocean is just, it's like a wow factor for me. I'm just like, nobody can touch me, and I can go sit in the hot tub, I can sit in bed, I don't have to do anything except exist for that moment.
But how long did it take you to come down, so to speak? You know, to really get into that relaxed state.
That's the reason why that extra day is so important.
Exactly,
On the
exactly.
ocean.
So, what if you could do that all the time? What if you could be in that peaceful, calm place and still be a high achiever all at the same time?
You train on that?
Yes, I do. I've got a workshop coming up the beginning of February called Peace Over Pressure.
Okay, so where can they find you at? I know we like to go at the
They can
end,
go to-
but I think the audience would like to know this specifically. Talk to the audience, please.
Go to my website, chaostoboss.com/peace, P-E-A-C-E. You can register for a link. It's going to be at a town between Lincoln and Omaha, Nebraska. I'm choosing 2 days. One is the 4th and one's the 5th of February, so you pick which day works best for you. It's at an Airbnb, so it's relaxed, it's calm, it's a place, it's women only, for women to just say yes to me. Yes, I'm gonna learn how to take all this stuff and quit carrying it all so that I can actually be more effective by doing less.
So what's the name of the class?
Peace over pressure.
Peace over pressure.
That's
I just want to make sure I said that because I
That's correct.
want to make sure that communication was in there for you.
Yeah. Thank you.
No, I'm glad to help. BTBY, this is what we do. We want to connect you with people that sometimes don't speak our same language.
Right.
And sometimes I feel that's one of our biggest problems. I mean, I'm kind of a dominant personality, but I like to have a lot of fun too.
Right.
So, they have those different charts or programs you can fill out, or you can find out a little bit about yourself. One of them is the DISC. I'm
Yes.
a high I and I'm a high D.
Yes. Yes.
And when I get into a pressure cooker situation, my I goes to the floor and my D goes through the ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
And I get very succinct. So something like this, because there's a lot of high Ds in the female side as well,
Yes.
this could really be helpful to them. That piece, that one little thing you said, because if it doesn't, in my philosophy, if it doesn't bring peace and joy to me, it's not for me.
Right. And it's helping them each identify where those specific things are for them. Because if you look at the statistics of people with depression, anxiety, burnout, it's high percentages, especially with high achievers and entrepreneurs. And am I going to say I've got it all figured out? But I've got the majority of it figured out. And I don't want women to have to wait until their 60s to figure it out. I want to show them how now.
You know the great thing about that, by saying I don't have it all figured out, but I've got most figured out, is when you go into a collaboration, like that type of environment,
Yeah.
where you actually get to collaborate with others,
Yeah.
you can actually grow as two minds can figure out one little piece.
Exactly.
And that's what I always look to glean one little thing that I can make and a slight adjustment and get back to my core alignment, which I think is critical.
We think about I love your word alignment because I said, move from grind to aligned. We imagine if our car wasn't aligned. how horrible that would be driving down the road. We go to our chiropractors and we feel instantly better when we get our back aligned.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't take the time to get our life aligned.
Mm-hmm. I would agree 100%. And I will be completely transparent with you. For the longest time, I was out of alignment. And it's not because I read some book. I just got tired of being tired.
Yep. And I think you get to a point in life when you get older and you've got a few years or decades, or it could be. Are
we saying what we are?
Yeah, we're saying it. But I think sometimes there's milestone events that create that. It could be a milestone birthday. I had 3 significant events happen within 6 months of each other that just made me go, whoa, I got to realign this. I got to readjust because I'm at a halfway point in my life. I have good genes. I'm going to be old for a long time. Mm-hmm. So I'm at a halfway point in my life that it's time to make some adjustments because where I'm at, I don't want to, it's not sustainable. It's not how I want to stay.
And who wants to just sustain? I mean, listen to that word. I just want to wake up today and I want to sustain.
Who wants to do that?
I mean, who jumps out of bed and says, I'm going to meet the day to sustain?
Right. No.
And you're going to teach that in the class.
Correct. Absolutely.
This workshop.
Absolutely.
That's amazing.
Peace over pressure.
So Lynette, let's just pivot just for a second. Because I think this is critical. We've talked about all the programs that you offer, the chaos to boss, grinding. Mm-hmm. You know, grinding is not just for coffee beans. Who is that one person in your life that caused you to pause and rethink?
Mm. I think there were 2 people.
Okay.
One was my boss back a few decades ago, being that high achiever, being in sales, going for the, make the money and live the life and all the stuff back in my 30s. And I watched my boss. I was selling radio advertising. Mm. And I watched my boss, and he was there when I was there in the morning, and he was still there when I left at night. And I went, how's this gonna work when I get married and have kids? I don't see this working. So then this MK company came my way, and it aligned with my values, that I could still put family first, put my faith first, my family second, my career third. I could really work and be a successful mom and a successful business person.
Okay.
So that was the first pivot. And then, we moved on with all of the success and all of the things that I had with that company and amazing mentors and all the people that I had the opportunity to be able to work with. But it was still about the outward success and about people approval and all of that. And it led to milestone moment when just saying, this is enough. And that was a milestone birthday. It was my dad getting diagnosed with cancer and passing away in about 48 hours. And then it was also then my son being diagnosed as a type 1 diabetic. All within 6 months. And I looked at all of that and just said, life has to change here. And I made some very, very tough decisions. Unpopular ones that did not work out at all legally, financially. So I found myself living in Nebraska, and my ex-husband and my 2 kids were living still in Washington State, which is where we were living.
Oh. And
I'm a native Nebraskan. So that was really hard, telling, well, how many kids do you have and where do they go to school? You're a single mom who doesn't even have custody of her kids. They live in halfway across the country.
Wow, I bet the judgments were coming then.
Yeah, and maybe they weren't coming as much as I thought they were, but I certainly owned it. But here's where it got great. Somehow, I don't know how I did it, but every 6 weeks I managed to 6 months see my kids, either them coming to Nebraska or me going to Washington State. And one time we had an outing with my credit card team at the water park, and my daughter's talking to the people I work with, and she'd done that Facebook stalking, and she said, Mom, you need to do some coaching or mentoring, or you need to do some stuff with people. And I said, what do you mean? And she said, well, I read what people say about you on Facebook, and you're changing people's lives.
That had to stick hard.
That validated that I knew that making that decision to leave Washington, because the only thing that was going to change was my address. I could move to a different house. but I wasn't gonna change the unhealthy environment that I was in.
Mm.
So, and literally, God said move home, so I did what he told me to do. And hearing my daughter say that was like all I needed to know, that I was living and being the right person, because I couldn't be the mom or woman that I thought that she needed to see if I wasn't gonna be that person, and that's not the way that I was. In my business or in my marriage, I just had become a shell of who I really was, and so I had to go back and become the Lynette who she was.
Out of the mouth of babes.
Yeah.
So now, who are some people that you really saw with your leadership, with your communication, but more importantly, your support? Who are some people you've changed their lives? Like your daughter with that moment.
Yeah, that was huge.
Who have you changed?
I think back to one of my coaching clients that I just said, she said, well, what do you do? And I said, I have a coaching business and it's Chaos to Boss. And she goes, I need you.
Oh, there you go.
There we go.
Pick the right name.
And she was a woman who, she and her partner had a landscaping business. She has 2 young children, and she was trying to grow and run the landscaping business, trying to be the mom and all the activities, trying to do all the stuff that women do. Whether you're a business owner, or whether you're an executive, or whatever it is, we're trying to juggle it all. And she was looking to grow and scale her business, but there was just so much going on. So I really helped her lay the foundation. And when I look at the pillars and the things that I teach people with Chaos to Boss, it's laying a foundation for your life. Because if you lay a foundation and get your life together and get systems in place, then it's easy to grow that into a skyscraper. It's easy to grow a building. You know that in real estate. You gotta have a good solid foundation. Mm-hmm. If you're selling a house with a crappy foundation, it's not gonna have much value. It's gonna fall apart.
Well, I'm going to take it to one step further than that. We say the foundation is critical, but the foundation underneath the foundation is even more. That's the reason why they have different systems that you have to do soil samples.
Oh yeah.
They call them phase 1, phase 2, phase 3,
Ooh.
because they have to be able to sustain the foundation.
That word again, in a good way. It has to be. The sustain is good from the core to have it there that you can then go and do the growth. So when I look at her now, which is about 3 or 4 years later, her business has grown incredibly. She's got, a COO. She's got staff in place.
Leverage.
Exactly. She's leveraged huge. She and her business, or she and her husband have started having some rental properties. They've always taken great vacations, but she's just doing all this stay-at-home mom stuff with her kids that a stay-at-home mom would do, but she's a very, very successful business owner.
So what's 2 things that you were able to teach her? I know there was a lot.
Yeah.
But what were 2 critical things, and not critical in the negative,
Right.
critical to shift,
Yes.
to pivot, to get her in alignment where she needed to go?
I think she had to shift her mindset to that, there's things you need to do as a business owner. You can't control everything. You can't do she was trading dollar time and doing penny work.
Ooh.
That's a Mary Kay-ism. Mary Kay Ash said that.
Yeah, I had a buddy tell me that one time. He goes, you're saving pennies and costing yourself dollars.
Exactly. So she had to shift to an entrepreneur brain instead of an employee brain, because she was filling all the pots. She was doing all the work. I mean, she had a big crew for some of the big landscaping jobs, but there's a lot of stuff she had to let go of because it wasn't serving her.
I want to stop you because there's one thing that you just said. She had to go from a entrepreneurial leader. That's what she needed to become.
Instead of an employee.
How many of us in our lives are we an employee thinking we're an entrepreneur body?
Exactly.
So you help her transition from employee, because you remember those those hats, helicopter spin?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, that's an entrepreneur because we spin our hat around and it's I got to be the CFO, I got to be the CEO, I got to be the CEO. Then I got to also be the subordinate. I got to be the employee. I got to be all these spinning around my head. Well, who's going to be today? And there I am.
Exactly. We're juggling all the plates. We're so busy being active that we're not being productive.
Employee mindset.
Exactly. Exactly.
Not entrepreneurial.
Exactly. So she shifted to thinking like an entrepreneur.
Okay.
And then she
So
started.
number one, she
and
went
then
from
the
employee
second
to
one.
entrepreneur.
And then she started replacing herself. She started leveraging herself. Some of it was that she, there was just some stuff in her business that she said, I just don't want to do anymore, and she just let it go. It just was not an income source anymore. But
It's costly.
Yeah, it was costing her. It wasn't bringing her any joy anymore, so she quit doing it. But she also then leveraged and brought on board people who were better. I'll come back to a quote here, who were better than she was at what she was trying to do.
That's what.
I had a boss said, do what you do best and hire everybody else to do the rest. So
That's what Dale Carnegie.
exactly.
Dale Carnegie says, I'm not the smartest guy in the room. I just know how to hire the smartest guys. I know Dale Carnegie, some people think he was a brilliant man. Some people think he was, I won't go that direction. But the fact of the matter is, what he said was truthful.
Yes.
I don't need to be the smartest guy in the room. I just got to know how to hire the smartest guys for those opportunities.
Yes. And your biggest clue is if there are things you keep kicking down the road and procrastinating on, it's because it's not in your genius zone. So go hire someone that is in their genius zone, and then you've just doubled the productivity.
To me, I call it I don't like it zone.
Exactly.
I can do it, but I don't want to because I don't like it at all.
One of my mentors said, do what brings you joy.
Yes.
I'll cook all day long. I love to cook. That brings me joy. But I'm going to have a housekeeper every single day of the week because I hate to clean. You know, those are simple things.
You got me going now. I hate cutting grass. I'm a math guy.
Yeah.
And I started out, I'm thinking $4,000 or $5,000 lawnmower because I have a half acre. We need all this. And I'm like, it's cheaper for me to go hire somebody to go do it than to maintain it, store it, do all this crap that I don't want to do. And then I don't even enjoy doing it.
So instead of trading your time for money, then you move to trading your money for time.
Exactly.
And that's an entrepreneur mindset, but that's an everyday household mindset. That people should adopt just with their overall households, because our house is a business too. We're talking maybe to entrepreneurs here, we might be talking to people in business that are leaders in corporations and organizations, but some of those same principles carry over into your household. And what if you took some of those?
How long have you been coaching her? You still coach her?
No. But we're still good friends and keep in touch and
So
have lunch every
how
once
long
in a
of a
while.
period of time do you think through this process with her, how many glass ceilings did you see her go through?
Oh, she's probably. I coached her in 21 or 22. I think we went on for 6, maybe 9 months, and I know she's elevated probably 2 or 3 levels.
That's awesome. That is.
From that foundation, I'm not going to take credit for it. I just kind of gave her her wings.
Sometimes it's not. It's just open the blinds.
Yep.
That's all it is. It's just open the blinds. That's nothing really. I didn't do something miraculous like I went up there and there were golden blinds. I just twisted the little finger out.
Exactly.
Oh, there's actually a window there. Oh, there's actually an outside there.
Yeah.
You open the blinds and just start putting different things in alignment for her. Because I think there's a lot of people, I teach this a lot. It's just key little components. We think it's excessive. It's not. It's not big.
It's little bitty tweaks. It's little, even just little pivots. Pivot doesn't have to mean you do a 180. It can. You can just do a little pivot,
I don't know. I used to dance a lot. I like the 360.
Well, I won't disagree with that. Like, yeah, okay, now we're going to be dancing. Okay, this is. Oh yeah. Okay. Yes. Yeah.
Well, isn't that what we're doing? We're
yes, we are. Yes, we are. We're dancing. This is fun.
Well, and I'm gonna put a plug in right here, folks. This is what we're all about at Becoming the Better You. It's about enjoying the time with the people that we got and encouraging the people to get out there and enjoy their life. Mm-hmm. Bring joy and peace to yourself. These are things that we teach about, we talk about on stage. we have people like you come in and speak about this and teach about this. This is critical because the way have been going, I'm in my late 50s. I tell you, there's many times that I probably should have had a mental breakdown. And I probably did, but because I'm like the Rocky Balboa doll. I got one more round, I got one more round, I got one more round. But I don't know that I was being impactful even as the Rocky Balboa doll.
You just kept
I just said I got to get back up, and I was
beat
up, and I just kept going. But there comes a point in time when you need, I call it the Moses moment.
Yeah.
You're holding your arms up
and saying,
and I can't hold them more, so I need some help on holding them up.
You know, you said something there. I think we need to, you have to be resilient. You have to keep getting up, and your why has to be there. But I think you need to keep getting up, but then you have to do a shift or change so you don't get up and see the same landscape the same time.
See, I was too dumb. I was just hard-headed.
Yes.
I'll just take another punch.
Yes. They'll just do it. Well, I'm glad you finally figured it out, Brian.
I don't know if I figured it all the way out. Okay, we're going to pivot again. You know, I love to pivot.
Yes, you do.
I'm really good about it, too.
Okay, now what are we going to pivot on?
I like shaking the brain up a little bit.
Okay.
So I read or it was provided to me, more importantly, because I don't want to misrepresent. There's something about the comeback code. What does that mean?
The comeback code. Well, it kind of goes a little bit into what you said before, is how do you respond when you get knocked down? And there's been, because a lot of it was because of the economy or different things where I've had to start over financially, but probably the one that really represents the comeback code that's really helped me move forward into what I feel like I have a very thriving life right now, is I had left that company, that direct sales company I'd worked with for a long time. And it felt like, but at the same time I thought, well, I'd also worked with a couple other network marketing companies because that's what I'd known for over 35 years.
Sure.
So what else am I going to do? Who's going to hire a 50-something-year-old woman to do something, yada, yada, yada. Well, it got to a point where I had a lot of financial obligations and I was counting the pennies in the floorboard of my car to put gas in my car. And I went, well, what am I going to do? So my mom lived about 3 miles west of me. My daughter was there for the summer. And I said, let's just go hang out with Mom. I got to figure out what I'm going to do with my life. So one of the things I did that started that comeback is when you are in a place where you are that desperate for money, there's a desperate energy that you put off, right? You may be going through all the work and doing all this stuff you're supposed to, but people they can feel you coming.
Motions. You're going through the motions.
You're going through the motions and you're sending off this desperate energy. You think you're doing it, but you're not feeling it, you're not passionate about it, you're not excited about it, you're just going through the motions because you're trying to put food on the table. So I went down to my mom's and just said, I'm going to go down here for the month. And I got myself one of those spiral notebooks, you know, just like one spiral notebook, has 25 lines on it. For 31 days in a row, I wrote 25 things I was grateful for. And at that point in time, I was grateful for 10 fingers and 10 toes. I was grateful I had health. I had the birds singing. I had hair on my head.
You were grateful God up in the right way.
I was scraping to the bottom. And sometimes they were repeating over and over again.
That's okay.
But I never thought of myself as an ungrateful person. But it really caused me to look at everything I did have, even though I felt like I didn't have crap. I felt like I didn't have anything. My life was falling apart. I'm in my 50s and got to support my kids. What am I going to do? And I don't know that I ever thought of this as the comeback code, but it was one of the most significant shifts that got me on this path. So fast forward to the end of July, I was talking to a friend and she said, just get on Indeed and hire a job. You know, you've got such good sales skills. Get on Indeed and just go get a job. Someone is going to hire you. You know, and of course the ego, because I was all that in a bag of chips and all the stuff. You know, you get in the ego and all that stuff, and why would I lower myself?
Go get a job. That makes me want to throw up.
Oh, you know, the biggest obstacle was I'm unemployable. You know, because I don't do bosses well, right? So anyway.
No way.
Yeah, no, you're right. There's your sarcasm. So I interviewed for this job. They hired me on the spot and I went, okay, gotta go back home, gotta start this job. It was in the credit card business, credit card industry. I didn't know squat about credit card processing. I had zero list of prospects because I was working business to consumer, not business to business.
Yep.
You want to talk about starting from scratch? 100%. First, but they did. One of the reasons I signed up to work for them was because they would set my appointments for me. And I went, okay, well, I can go sell something if they set them up for me. Of course, I was the star salesperson with the appointments all across, they were making appointments from Chicago down to Nebraska. So, they had me all over the countryside. But I was signing up 10 to 15 people a month, and I started having money in my bank account. And I went, how the heck did that happen? I have been in an industry of direct sales, network marketing for over 30 years, and I was broke. I go over here to an industry I've never done before, and all of a sudden I'm getting on my feet and I'm making money, and it changed the trajectory.
So here, before we go any further, I'm going to interrupt. Yes, I have the freedom to do that. Interrupt. What was that transition like, going B2C to B2B?
Oh,
for you.
It was hard because they were telling me where to go at what time and set all the appointments, and I had to do what the telemarketers set up for appointments, whether it was logical or not, because that's how they got paid, and they wouldn't set appointments for me to go sell an account. The good news is about 3 months later, someone with the company that I ended up being with for 7 years said, if you're going to be in credit card processing, you need to come work for us. But I still was, I've been straight commission since 1988. I was still straight commission with that company, even though I was an employee and had benefits. I had to hustle. The difference that helped me start making that money to get on that path was I shifted my energy. I was going from desperation, I shifted my energy to gratitude. So that became my first foundational piece of living the life now that I talk to people, is spending some time in gratitude and looking at how grateful you are and what are the things that happen in your life. You go to make a sale. I had one client that I thought was going to be a coaching client, and they said no. And when you're counting on that money, it was like someone just punched me in the gut, right? I was going to a networking event. I had to put on the face. I had to get to 40 gratitudes before it shifted my energy, but it shifted my energy. It was hustling, it was hard, and I just did nothing but pull doors and pull doors. Then I started networking and used my ability to create relationships and build relationships. Mm-hmm. And 60% of my business the next year came from referrals.
That's key to the game.
So it was really hard work learning a new industry. Probably, a lot of my skill sets applied, but learning a whole new industry that was very technical, that whole scenario was very, very hard.
So it sounds like to me that one transition from down, well, most people say you're down on your luck.
Yep.
Help write the transition
yes.
for what you do now.
Exactly.
That one, and I think that's the reason why I thought it was so important that we walk through that real quick, because I think that is critical, because that was really the comeback moment. And what people don't realize, and I'm not going to get on my soapbox, maybe a little bit, we don't write down those comeback moments. We don't like to look in the rearview mirror about those comeback moments, but they usually articulate and communicate and allow us the strategies to help others. Because I think if you're not helping somebody else from what you've learned, shame on you.
1000%.
Shame on you.
1000%.
And just to kind of bring a little bit of this to the closure, because I wanted to hear that one piece, the comeback moment. That's one of the things that I think is so important about BTBY. It's, to me, we want you at your most vulnerable moment. Because in my belief system, in your most vulnerable moment, that's when you're the most coachable and teachable. Because I got nothing else. I might as well just bend a knee, and that's not what we're asking. But you have to do that to yourself, that mental bend the knee and say, okay, we never control it like we think we do. Mm-hmm. That's a false sense. That's what a job is.
Yeah.
No control. As an entrepreneur, we have to go.
Figure it out as you
kill what you eat.
Yes.
And go do.
Yes.
But that vulnerability with becoming the better you, because our leader, Brenda Ringwood, because I've known her for a long time. I knew her before she went to jail. And now I know her after. And I can tell you there's a complete different change in her. She had to get vulnerable for a period of time and pivot. That's exactly what we teach. That's so important. And now hearing it from you, that's exactly what you teach. Because that moment, that comeback moment, was your vulnerability moment. I think it's hard to teach something that you've never done. I think it's hard to train somebody on something you've never experienced.
1000%.
And I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, and I'm confident, and I get a little bit more passionate about this, I get really serious when I get passionate. That's something we do, becoming the better you. Is everybody that communicates, and as we're growing into a relationship with you as well, you'll be part of us as well, as we like to be a part of you. We all have experienced those comeback moments.
Yes.
And we recognize that in you, and that's how we help. I think help is the key word.
I think there's a lot of people who are down on their luck, that have times when they're down on their luck. Sometimes they just need someone. What helped me the most, other obstacles, not as bad as this one, was when I heard someone's story and they gave me hope. They saw a path out of that scenario and they gave me a hand up to help take, they didn't give me a hand out, they gave me a hand up. Helped me with the story, with the skill, with the tool, with something they said. Those are hard to measure, but man, isn't that what life's about? I don't care about all the dollars in the bank when I'm impacting and doing that for somebody else.
I tell this pain and pleasure. You have to experience pain before you know what pleasure is. And I think that comeback moment was that comeback moment to Chaos the Boss. You were in chaos. I'm sure sometimes it was even difficult to get out of the bed and to look and see what's going on for the day because there was so much chaos. That's what we like to communicate at Becoming the Better You. So as we transition and as we end this out, a couple things I want to do is I want you to articulate exactly, again, where they can reach you.
Okay.
So I want you to say that to the audience.
Okay.
And we'll kind of end it from there.
Okay, awesome. Well, you can certainly find me and reach out through my website at chaos2boss.com. You can find me on all the socials, whether it's LinkedIn, Facebook, or Instagram, whatever. Just remember there's one N in Lynette and 2 R's in Sorrentino. Or Chaos to Boss, either one. I'm out there everywhere. DM me, reach out, ask questions. I'm here to serve you and help you be able to get to where you want to go because you deserve it, because you're made for more.
I appreciate this time, Lynette. What a great opportunity to meet you for the first time and actually have this conversation.
This was great.
I felt like it was very easy.
Yes.
And I enjoy this. This is the type of moments that I really enjoy.
This was work. Whoa.
Oh, was it?
This is
I'm
so
probably
fun.
gonna get in trouble. I'm gonna throw something out there. Johnny's probably gonna smack me around a little bit because you're having too much fun.
Right. Yeah.
But no. Again, to see more about what Lynette Sorrentino is doing, please go to comechangeyourlife.com. Becoming the Better You is all about this. And again, I'm Brian K. Ramey, but what we're trying to do is we're changing the world. It's just not a saying becoming the better you. It is really becoming the best version of yourself and giving you that voice. And that's exactly what we do. So go to www.comechangeyourlife.com and read about people like Lynette, people like LaRon, people that are changing lives through things that they've done to change their life. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope you have a wonderful day.